Hey folks, welcome back to the Portable Gamer, welcome back to Farming Simulator 17, and welcome back to the Western Shore. If it's not the best map I've ever played, I don't know what is. It's top 3, no doubt. This could be the best map that I've ever played. It really could. Right, so what is going on? If we go here, and we zoom in a little bit, I got all of our grass, turn our grass on here, I got all of our grass mowed. Oh. These 6 fields, 7 fields? Yeah, 7. All around the outside. I got them all rowed up. And fields 50 and 51, 50 I left as grass road. Well, all the other ones are grass road, but it's going to be picked up with a loading wagon. 50 is road to be wrapped as bales. And 51 I tedded, and that is hay. So 50 will be our silage bales. 51 will be our hay bales. The other 5 fields will be going into the pits on the farm. Field 49 is rowed up as well, straw there, and I bought field 59. I paid cash for it. We had enough from the sale of our silage. I was able to buy field 59, and I will talk about what we're going to do with that momentarily. But in the meantime, less talk and more rocking. Let's get to work. So first thing we need to do is we need to put fuel in the JCB, and we will do that here. Begin filling that up. And I do have the slow fuel add mod. And in hindsight, which is always 2020, perhaps I could have hopped in and started filling before we started talking about what's going on the map. Hey, you know, living and learning. That's how we do. So this is the other, in fact, I can hop out and show it to you. This is the other Mengele. It is filled up with juice. The blades will be good. I leased it. The blades will be good for what we need to do today. We won't have to replace the blades. And I told you I downloaded 2 Mengele loading wagons. That I just step on. What's behind me? I downloaded 2 Mengele loading wagon mods. The first one did not have the blades that bind up when you try to force too much grass through them. This one is the other one, so this must be it. So you'll see when we get rolling, there's a little meter. If you go too fast, the blades bind up. There's no other way to say it. You have to stop, set the brake, get out, reach in there, and pull the clogged up grass out with your hand. Fantastic detail. This is just about full, so let's get ready. We'll get rolling here. I am going to make our counterclockwise loop that I've been making. We'll talk a little bit more about plans that I have for the farm as we get rolling. And here we go. You know what, we can turn this off too. Make a little bit more room. Just like so. And here we go. So yeah, I bought field 59. What I would like to do is get field 49 and field 59. I'd like to get hard manure on there. And because we're running a hard manure mod, then when we either cultivate or subsoil it in, we'll cultivate field 49. It's already been subsoiled, so we get the plow buff. Field 59 we will hit with the subsoiler, so we do get the 10% plow buff. But because we have the hard manure mod running, if we put hard manure on there, on either one of those fields, and then get it into the soil somehow, plow, cultivator, subsoiler, then we will get a double fertilizer bonus, which means we'll already have 2 layers of fertilizer on there. And then I would like to put in winter canola. I think we have enough food for the animals, and I feel like, whoa, I feel like our silage operation is taking off, because keep in mind, we're bringing in our second cut. It's only the middle of summer. I think we're going to get 3 cuts this year. And if each of the 2 remaining cuts is 150,000 pounds. That's 300 grand we'll make the rest of this year. And we've got, our loan is 250. So we'll be able to pay off our loan, and we've already expanded our fields. So we'll be out of debt this year, of course, with silage. It's the way it always works out. So that's the plan at the moment, is to put winter canola into those 2 fields and start getting some cash crops going as well. The other thing we can do, and I really don't know what it would be like in this terrain with the sort of steep hills, the other thing we could do is we could plant potatoes or sugar beets or something. I don't think we can plant them this late in the year, but possibly next year. Potatoes or sugar beets as food for our little pigs, right? So that is a possibility as well. Unknown at this point. Unknown, but I'm thinking about it. Or, like I said, just go canola in both of them, or canola and soybean. No, I don't think we get winter soybeans. I think it has to be canola if we want to plant a winter crop. But bottom line, we would use our profit from canola and silage to sort of subsidize the pig operation until it gets to a point where we're selling enough pigs where they're actually making us money. And like I said, I've never made money with pigs. It just always seems to me like you spend so much money feeding them, either by buying food or by going through these really sort of elaborate, you know what I'm saying, machinations. It's a process to grow all those different things that you need to feed the pigs. So if you feed them everything that they want to eat, which is everything, then you end up spending so much money on that you don't make any money when you sell the pigs. But we'll see. We'll see. This is field 5-9 over here to our left. It's big. It's got a nice grade to it. So we'll get that going next episode. The other thing is this JCB that we're in, I realized this JCB, and you saw how much fuel we had to put in it. This JCB is accounting for probably 70 to 75% of the activities that we're doing on the farm. So I think what we're going to do, either off camera or possibly next episode, maybe the one after that, is I think we're going to trade our Massey Ferguson 5600 in on something a little bigger. I've got my eye on something. I think I know exactly the tractor that I want. Speaking of 5600, there it is with a bale wrapper, right? Because that is a grass field. And then a little further up, come on now, you got this. A little further up is the Ford T-Dub with just the plain Jane New Holland bale. I stopped in the middle of a word. Just a plain Jane New Holland bale. And I believe that is, well, I know it's MR compatible, but I believe that is about the right amount of horsepower. Apparently that combine baler wrapper that we had going a while back was a little too big for these hills. Hey, you know what? I love learning stuff, and I learned that. So we'll go with something a little smaller, lighter, and also it can't hold 2 bales. It doesn't have a pre-press chamber and the wrapper and everything else. So when it's full, you empty it out, and the weight, at least of the content, you know, what's in there, drops down to 0, and you start again. So there's no possibility of having 8,000 liters of hay. So that, I think, covers everything. And now you can see it's actually a little bit after 5 p.m. I think our last episode, it was like 1 in the afternoon. I have been really hustling to get all this done. I would like to. I'll do it off camera, but I would like to get all this grass into the bunkers before sunset. It's going to be a task. And this is how you end up with a 200-hour year in Farm Sim, is days like this. I know it's not going to rain, and so we probably won't have any problem as far as like loss of crop as you would have if you had grass or straw in the field and we don't want that one, we want that one. If you had grass or straw in the field and it rained on it, you would have some loss. We won't have that loss, so I'm not worried about that. It's just, I don't know, the OCD, maybe it just feels wrong to leave this in the field overnight. However, I told you, I've been like seriously reading about agricultural science and agricultural engineering. I find it fascinating. And what I'm told is you want to mow and run a combine harvester through crops that are dry. Not too dry. You never want them to get too dry, but you don't want them to be really wet. And particularly for wheat, wet wheat, rather than it cutting, right, when the shears in the header hit it, rather than it cutting, it's like string. Bounce into that. It's like string, and it wraps around the cutter bars and just messes everything up. Same with grass. You want your grass to be pretty dry so that the mower blades can actually shear through it, which is more difficult when it's wet. However, you want to bale in the morning when your straw or your grass or your hay or what have you is a little bit wet from dew, because baling is easier when the material, whatever it is, can grip the surfaces inside the baler a little bit better. I had no idea. Yep. So you want to mow and harvest when things are pretty dry, but you want to bale them when they're just a little bit moist. So you learn something new every day, right? Turn that on. All right, we're going to lower that. And if you look lower right side, we've got, oh, in fact, hang on, turn this on. And we want to do that. So we want to add silage additive. So we've got 3 bars now. We've got our silage additive level up on top. And then in the middle, the life of the blades. And then down at the bottom, see that green strip gauge? It's very hard to see. But if you can see that green strip gauge bouncing around, when it turns red, you're fixing to load up your blades. And you got to slow it down a little bit. So what's tricky is the density of the row is going up and down. And so it's not a consistent row, and so I can't really have a consistent speed. I would love to set the cruise control and just be able to move through here. Oh, this is what we do to ourselves as sim farmers. Why would I do this? Why would I make it intentionally harder to play a video game? I don't know. But I do. I do. At some point, we won't get to it in time, and it will load up. We'll have to stop. It lifts the pickup automatically when it clogs up, but we'll have to set the brake, hop out, and clean it out by hand. Fantastic detail. And what kind of a person, what kind of a lunatic comes up with that in a mod, right? I mean, silage additive, replacing the blades, that's all well and good. But what kind of a person says, you know what would be cool? If there was a loading wagon that could, like, clog up. I don't know about that. Right. Suspend your disbelief momentarily as we drive over this gigantic pile of grass. Drop the pickup once again. Now, this is something more realistic is also really good at, is it does take into consideration the volume or the density or the mass, I guess, I don't know, of whatever it is that you're trying to pick up or mow or harvest. It does take that into consideration and sort of use that for the PTO or the, I don't know, the power draw. And it's very good about that. So you can't just, if you were to, say, take all the rows in this field and combine them into one massive row and try to just barrel through it top speed, more realistic would really not be happy about that. So it's definitely a well thought out mod. I have no complaint. I know a few episodes ago it sounded like I was kind of, not happy with more realistic. No, I love more realistic. My goal is just to get all of my mods playing nicely together. You know how that goes. Save game. And I think we're just about full. I'm going to put one of each of these. Where are we at on time? 13 minutes. I'm going to put one load in the new bunker, right? The one that is between the dairy and the lane. I'm going to put the other one. There it is. I love it. So we'll lift that up. We'll back that up. All right. Very carefully. And I believe it's N. I'm here. I want to clean it with my hand. What's the technique? We'll do the other side. I thought it was N. I thought you just had to get down there with N. I think it's on this side. Oh no. Why can't we get to it? I can see it. I wonder if it needs to be down. So we'll lower it again. No. Get out of your tractor. Clean it with your hand. Sir, there's nothing I want more than to clean it with my hand. I'm not getting any kind of trigger box in here. You know what? What if we just stand here and toggle N? B. Just start hitting keys. One of them must be right. Right. So we'll lift that. Turn it on again. We'll lower it again. Brake off, and we're rolling forward. A little more carefully this time. And we don't have to attack this whole pile right here. Let's just kind of go around the side of it. Trim a little off the edge. Alright. And about like so. And if we were to back up back here, and I don't think we'll get very far down this row, but we can at least start on the end of it. There we are. Right about right here. Drop that like so. Carefully. Carefully. Yeah, what a fantastic and cruel and sadistic detail. Oh, modders. How I love you. Right. To the farm. Now, I got a comment from somebody saying the way that they get into that other pit is the way that I thought about getting into it as well, which is to pull straight in and sort of around toward the shed where we have the bales, and then back up into the pit. And from there, as far as getting out, I don't know. I guess, yeah. I guess we really didn't need to close this gate. I do it out of habit. But, could have skipped that. Yeah, we'll see when we get down there. Once I'm backed into it, I don't know if it's possible to pull forward and out to the right, back to the lane, or if we would need to back out to the lane, or if possibly we would need to pull all the way around. I suppose we could pull through that shed. Yeah, I think the doors are high enough that we could pull all the way through that shed. We'll find out when we get there. I'm curious now how we'll get back to the lane, whether we have to back out one way, back out the other way, or pull forward around the rest of the lane. The farm. It's late. It's like, it's going on like 10 o'clock at night. I normally do this about 7 or 8 in the morning. Right, so we're going to pull in here carefully. Right in here. Right. Oh, this is tight. Right through there. And then, yeah, I mean, that works. That's easy enough. And we can slide that all the way over. So that we're on this side. Maybe. We may be able to. I mean, it will only be the first few loads that as we pull forward, we pull forward to the right. I think at some point we'll be emptying this thing far enough in the back. Yeah, I mean, okay, I think I know what I'm trying to say. Like right now we're so far back that we have enough room to swing out as far to the left as possible, and then to the right to get out. But at a certain point we'll be so far forward, because the back of the pit will be full of chaff, that we won't be able to make that same swing. Perhaps. I mean, it's going to be interesting either way to get this thing full. Oh, and also, that same person that left that comment did say that this holds, I think he said at least 300,000. So, 250 on the other one, 300 on this is 550. I think it's going to be more like 750 or 800,000 liters we get out of these grass fields. So, I think these are both going to be full. And then we've still got bales to make. Right. So back to field 6-8. 6-8. So back to field 6-8. We'll fill this again. We'll take it to the regular. Regular? Yeah, is that a good name for it? I don't know. The original. The one that we've used before. We'll take it to the other regular pit on the farm. And we'll see if this thing fits in there. I'm sure it will. It's not much bigger than the other one. the other loading wagon that we used last cut. And then from there, if we have time, we can dip across the highway and maybe make a few quick straw bales just to see how big those rows are and try to just generally estimate what we think our count is going to be. Right, so back over here. Yeah, this is... Well, if this thing is 20,000 and one pit is 250 and the other one is 300, you're talking about... Oh! You're talking about a dozen trips for one pit and 15 for the other. It's right here. Did I get it? Yep, got it. A dozen trips for one, 15 for the other. Yeah, I'll definitely be working till sunset today. And I know that this grass and straw will make it overnight, but like I said, it just feels irresponsible, you know, to leave it overnight. I'm just so used to that, I don't know, fear, anxiety that you're going to lose some crop if it gets wet. But we'll do what we can. We'll get as much in as we can. I'll get those bales put up, and then next episode we will be probably getting started on prepping those two fields for winter canola. And I'm sort of looking forward to that. And in a way, I'm looking forward to buying a new tractor. It's probably going to be well north of 200 horsepower, and I know we had agreed that we would be between 100 and 200 horsepower on this farm. But I think with the grade and, I don't know, just the type and size of equipment that we're going to be using, I feel like that was maybe a little too ambitious. I mean, we still could do. This thing is certainly well under our rake that we used. Our mowers, I think, were like 60 and 70. Oh, no. 60 and 70. I didn't use the full butterflies. I used one front mower and then one... It's like half a butterfly. And I think it drew about 150. So we used the JCB for that. Get it all out. There we go. So that worked out. That. So we could continue on, but I just feel like, I don't know. As the fields get bigger, you know, 3 and 4 meter equipment is really going to be tricky. I feel like 6 might be our sweet spot. And that's going to require just a bit more than 100 to 200. Maybe. We'll see. Plus, I found a tractor I really, really like. I'll tease it a little bit. There'll be a big reveal next episode, but I found something I think will fit the farm and won't be too far outside our guidelines. It'll still be, you know what I mean? We'll still be in the spirit of the map. So, yeah, this is going to take a minute. It really, really is. Because this has been... Well, we did have to come up from the Shell station, but this has been 20 plus minutes. It's going to be 30 minutes for 2 loads. This is going to take me several more hours, at least till dark, to get these fields in, plus baling, plus wrapping, and stacking. Ugh. Watching our little strip gauge down there. I'll get the rest of this pile here, and then we can get back into our rows. Yeah, this is what I'm about to do. This has always struck me as really not very realistic at all, just sort of attacking a big pile like that. You couldn't do that in real life, could you? But in fairness, in real life, you most likely wouldn't have a big pile like that to begin with. There'd be no way that a rake could make anything that big. Yeah, sorry, end of the day. I'm going to get all tied up with words and trip over words. That's what happens when I try to do this late at night. Right. Like so. Beautiful. All right, so we will go down to the regular pit, the other pit. Get this dumped, and that should be, yeah, that'll be close to 30 minutes right there. So we'll save, tell you what, let's just save baling for the next episode. I'll go ahead and gather up all this grass off camera, and the next episode will be baling, and then the episode after that we'll start getting those fields prepped. Which makes sense, because we can't really do anything in field 4-9. We can't do anything in field 4-9 until we get all the straw out of it anyway. So that, yeah, that sort of lends itself to a natural workflow. Beautiful. That works for me. So we're down around here, very carefully. Yeah. Is this the best map? Is it best map ever? Could be. Is it a perfect map? It could be. I've noticed a couple little things, but they are so minor that they almost don't take away from the quality of this map in any way. There's no, you know what I mean? There's no checklist of things you want fixed. It's just so damn good. Never played a map like it. Right through there. Right up here. Right. Open that up. Enough room there? Probably not. Let me pull forward just a bit more. Yeah. It's a little better. So, get this closed. Tight squeeze right there. Right, and then over here, yeah, we'll clear that. We'll clear that post, right? So now, what do we want to do? We want to go, I guess, just out toward. There's a little tiny passage around the back there that you can fit a tractor through. So we're just gonna stuff it right in here. Try to straighten it out a little bit, and I think that'll be enough. Yeah, that works. That works. And I also just noticed I put 50 liters of silage additive in, and we've, well, straighten it out. We've barely scratched the surface. We've done 2 loads, and we're already down by about 1/3, so I'm going to need to refill this thing about every 6 trips. I think we'll have enough in that IBC that we'll be able to continue refilling, but this is certainly a thirstier trailer than the last one we used. All right. Try to keep this up as close as we can to that back wall. Very slow unload speed on this, which is something I always appreciate. That's why I got the slow fuel add mod. I like when things happen in what seems like an appropriate amount of time. I don't like when things happen too quickly. That's kind of an immersion killer for me. I think. Oh. Get that off the top there. A little high center. We'll be okay. That's us done, is it not? Yeah, it certainly is. It's keeping it's keeping 4 liters in there. I'm not sure why, but you know what? You'll have that close enough, right? 30 minutes exactly. Beautiful. There you have it, folks. Thanks for stopping back to check out The Portable Gamer. Thanks for joining us for another episode of Farming Simulator 17. This is the Western Shore. See you next time. Take care now.